Hello my friends, this is day 10 of birthing into the light body, and as you can see I'm in a golden field today to talk about the sacral center again. So if you've been following these videos, there's 15 of them altogether, we're on day 10. We've been doing the journey of spirit, of soul, of the all that you are, the infinite you, as you come into body, as you come into form, as you come into being. And yesterday we were talking about the birth center, your birth center, the memories of your birth, the memories of you just being in innocence, being the pure spirit and body as one. I am. That's where I am sits. The all that I, the great I, am, becomes and is, and establishes and hopefully roots into the earth and roots deeply into your own being. And unfortunately this doesn't happen for many people. Like I expressed yesterday, there's lots of trauma, there's lots of birth trauma, there's earth traumas about coming to earth, about the traumas that have happened on earth that makes it difficult for us to want to sit here, for want to be here, and ultimately to have a sense of belonging and establishment. And as you know, a lot of our establishments are based on a foundation that has ulterior motives, has conditional motives that aren't coming from a place of absolute, not coming from a place of love, not coming from a place of integrity and truth and innocence and purity and, connected to the nature. Those establishments are coming from, all kinds of things, as you well know, that aren't rooted in that love, that aren't rooted in that pure I amness. And so this is what's happening. There's a massive cleansing happening on the earth. There's a massive cleansing happening in each being as we reside on this earth, as we have a symbiotic, transformational, evolutional experience, as those very basic foundations are being renewed. They're being cleaned so that we can root, we can establish ourselves in the all that we are, know ourselves, to be the full spirit being that you are in this body on this earth. And for that to anchor into the world, and for there to be space to be like that, to be who you are. And so as each soul is descending, connecting, and has the courage and the faith and the that I'm not going to take any more bullshit kind of attitude. I need to be real and connect to your truth, of that need to be exactly that which you are. And you have the courage to establish that in the world and to speak that, and to, as we're gonna discover in this next part of the journey, what that takes, then how that establishes, how that expresses that I am, to put that into the world. And so, firstly, just want to honor all of you who are doing that, who are making your best efforts, who have that intention, who have that desire, who've recognized that foundational need to just be who you are in your purity and your innocence and in everything. I love you. Thank you for doing that. We're all together. We're all networking. We can feel our roots connecting somehow, and our psyche somehow. We are connected, and I have total faith in that. And so now, coming up from that place of I am, back into the sacral center, and I'm going to now describe this journey from that I am in the earth, in the divine feminine, in the body, in the nature, to come up now from a journey from that place, the feminine self, up back to spirit. And this applies to not just women but to men as well, because we each have a masculine and feminine element. We each have a spirit which is what I call masculine in nature. It's divine masculine, and our body is the divine feminine, and these two have come together harmoniously to create each one of us. And here I am being the divine feminine. That's my sex, that's my being. I'm the daughter of Gaia. And yet this applies to both of us, male and women. So from the base center, coming back up into the sacral, which is just here. This is my belly button. It's just nestled underneath the soft belly right there. And I love this place. This is, when we're coming up into being, this is I am, and then I create. I am creation. I am all of creation. You're the seed and the egg. You're the womb and the protection around the womb. You are all of that. You are spirit, you are nature. This is your divine essence seated here in the sacral center. And I also call it, for me personally, my cauldron of creation. It feels literally like a magical space, almost like I'm going into outer space sometimes when I look into that, like where that big bang took place of my birthing, of my conception, and the big bang of all being took place. And the memory of that sits here, and I feel it, and I tap into that, and that explosive, wow, this is me, I am created. And in my purest state, what am I created to be? And maybe I don't know that yet up here. Maybe I haven't yet expressed that, but right deep down here, I just am that creation. And that wants to come out. That's your wild nature. That's the part that is just, you want to roar from, or you want to howl from, that totally like free, wild nature as it's been created to be. Not tamed as mankind has made it to be, or, managed, but just as it is, completely wild and outrageous. And it's really free and wonderful and innocent and magical place to be. So we all have this inside of us, and yet how much of yours is covered over? And like I was saying in a couple of videos ago about your conception, if you've had a less than perfect conception, which, let's face it, most of us have, our parents weren't all that conscious. The earth was in a different consciousness. Our awareness was different. We've grown a lot since our parents' generation, when they created us. And so all of those conditions might be on top of you. And I wonder if you've ever heard the story of the Golden Buddha. And I'm not really going to go into detail about it, but basically I heard this story about this Buddha that was found in Tibet, and most of the Buddhas were destroyed, they were smashed and taken away. And there was a Buddha that was covered, it just looked like a massive concrete Buddha, and it wasn't paid much attention. And then after a while, actually that's not true, it probably was paid lots of attention, but after a while, a long time later, there was a crack appeared in the Buddha. And people noticed that underneath they could see this gold coming through. And they took away that crud, the encasing of the cement or of the whatever it was that was on top of it, and revealed underneath this incredible golden Buddha. And for its protection, it had been covered in this horrible, concrete or whatever was put on top of it. So it looked grey. It didn't look valuable. It didn't look golden. And that is kind of how I see, for most people, their sacral center. It's like the Golden Buddha covered in crud, covered in all this sticky stuff, so that you don't really see who you truly are, or you can't really be, you're not free to be who you really are, but you are there underneath it all. It just needs to crack. And I think a lot of cracking up is happening at the moment, and has been, for the last year or two, but certainly at the moment, there's a lot of cracks appearing, and that's a wonderful thing. Let it crack. Let your nature burst through the crud, burst through the encasing, burst through the prison of these conditions that are there to protect you, and they're there for a reason. They're there so that, like a husk around a seed, it's there for a reason to protect the seed until it's ready to take root and germinate. And you, my friends, are that seed, that golden Buddha, ready to emerge, to release yourself from that outer casing that limits you, and be your true golden nature, be your true divine essence of all that you are created to be. And maybe you don't have an idea or a direction or a purpose attached to that yet, but you can't know any of those things. Your real purpose, your real destiny, your real passions, your real love, your true expression, until you are tapped in, tuned in, connected, living from that which I am created to be in your sacral center. So let it crack. Let your husk crack. Nurture it, water it, feed it love, feed yourself encouragement. Allow the breath in, like that air in the soil, like the air in the water. It's needed to open that seed, to feed that delicate seed hidden down there in your unconscious and subconscious, in your earth and your water memories of you. So I hope that makes sense to you. I could talk about this all day and all night. I love it. So here is to you honoring, bowing, humbling, cracking up, letting go, giving up. This, the energy of the divine feminine, is about giving up. It's receiving all and then giving up what is no longer needed and giving it all up to the greatest good of you. For the greatest good of you and all beings, give it up. What's not serving, what's not real, what's not coming from that foundation of your true being. And it might seem difficult, but you got to. There's no other option, and life will make that happen one way or another. So you may as well just give it up and have an easy birth. You have a blissful birth, have a blissful creation experience of yourself, and not struggle. So just give it up, let go, and think and feel about what you are created to be. What is your creation? Who is your creation? And I love you, as usual. And here I am. I'm pretty wild myself. Don't get me wrong. I'm not always sitting down in my, cross-legged position spouting nice energy things. That's sometimes me. That is me too. But just to let you know, I'm really in touch with my wild nature. I can be pretty outrageous and pretty wild, and I'll be the first person to cover my naked body in mud and run around fields whooping and screaming and having so much fun like that. I just don't want you to have any illusions about this, or any illusions about spirituality or what that means. It's to be all that you are. And nature is the most spiritual, most humbling, most incredible place to be. The earth is, your body is. It's the perfect place for you to be. So, connect. I love you. I'll speak to you tomorrow. We're going to talk about the womb again and feelings. And I look forward to that. Lots of love.